Hey everyone, I'm Glass with the Angry Toads, and I'm here to bring you a new series we're going to be starting called The Angry Toads Top 7. Each month we'll be having a running theme and bring you 4 lists according to that theme. All of these lists are compiled by myself with some help from Zero, then we get our opinions or ratings from the other members of the Angry Toads to narrow it down to our top 7. This month is essentially like our test run to see how the series is going to work, and then we'll be back in January full force with more lists. This month we're going to be bringing you our top 7 horror movies from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. This episode we'll be discussing the 70s. We hope you enjoy our list.
Number 7.
Released in 1972 and directed by Freddie Francis, Tales from the Crypt is an anthology film based on the stories from EC Comics. The film introduces us to our host for the evening, the Crypt Keeper, as he tells the 5 people in front of him how they're gonna die. The stories include a housewife battling a homicidal maniac, a man who ends up in a car accident after abandoning his family, a snobby father and son duo who torture their neighbor, a wife who finds a Chinese wish figurine, and the director of a home for the blind who makes cuts to the facility. The Tales from the Crypt movies are a favorite of many of us, especially because of the Crypt Keeper himself, who's creepy enough on his own to give us nightmares. The Crypt Keeper often cracks jokes and puns, but that doesn't much help for the fact that he's a talking corpse. The stories, while they can seem silly, are also quite disturbing and frightening at times. This film brought us great fun, but also great scares, and it's enjoyed all around.
Number 6.
Released in 1978 and directed by George A. Romero, Dawn of the Dead is the second film in the Living Dead series. Here we're 3 years into the zombie outbreak with millions already dead and reanimated as we follow 3 people planning to escape the city that's run down by the dead. After escaping and setting up base in the shopping mall, they settle in for the long haul. Unfortunately, these things never last long as they find themselves battling for their lives while attempting to escape yet again. George A. Romero is the grandfather of the zombie film, and this one was one of our most liked. While the zombie phenomena has completely taken over now, it was fairly new when the film came out, which made it more unique. Fighting for survival from the hordes of the undead can make anyone uneasy, but having to also deal with the living can be just as frightening. This movie gave us some of the fondest memories of zombie hordes, and it will forever be in our top favorites.
Number 5.
Released in 1973 and directed by William Friedkin, The Exorcist is a film adaptation of a novel by the same name written by William Peter Blatty. The story follows a young girl, Reagan, the daughter of an actress, who finds herself possessed by a demon after playing with a Ouija board. Following the stages of her possession and her mother's fight to cure her, it becomes a battle of the faith in the attempt to save her life. The Exorcist had a huge impact on the horror film genre. With minimal special effects, this film was able to actually make us scared and uneasy. The actress who played Reagan really brought everything full circle with her amazing portrayal of a possessed girl. The film has many iconic moments which still terrify us today, and perhaps even made some of us question our faith.
Number 4.
Released in 1975 and directed by Steven Spielberg, Jaws tells us of the town of Amity Island in the midst of the death of a woman by a supposed shark attack. The mayor covers it up, however, to keep the town running, but of course more attacks occur, causing the town's sheriff to set his sights on preventing another with the help of some locals. After Jaws, there were many who were afraid of the water, even a few of us, and it remains one of the most terrifying movies out there mainly because of the reality of the film. Although there's a slim chance you can actually be attacked or even killed by a shark, the fact that this was a lone shark in the shallows out for blood made it 10 times worse. So much for going to the beach anymore.
Number 3.
Released in 1978 and directed by John Carpenter, Halloween introduces us to the serial killer Michael Myers. On Halloween night in 1963, a young Michael Myers dons a clown outfit and brutally murders his older sister. This causes him to be sent away to a psychiatric facility until his escape nearly 15 years later. As a psychiatrist attempts to track him down, Myers becomes fixated on a young high school student as he stalks her and her friends in an attempt to get closer. The introductions of the story of Michael Myers was unsettling to all babysitters and teens out there, to say the least. The killer was human, mentally disturbed, and possibly pure evil, but human, and he was slow. Not only that, but the man isn't easily killed. So the fact that he was still able to kill his victim shows us that either they're all just that stupid, or maybe we just don't pay attention enough to our surroundings. Either way, I'll be looking over my shoulder from now on.
Number 2.
Released in 1976 and directed by Brian De Palma, Carrie, adapted from Stephen King's novel by the same name, follows a telekinetic teen named Carrie as she navigates the world of high school. Carrie, being quiet and shy, is constantly bullied by her peers and finds she possesses telekinetic abilities brought on by agitation and anger. Following the young woman on her journey of self-discovery proves that you should always be nice to the weird kids and probably not bully them. Stephen King is an amazing writer, and this adaptation of his novel gave us the creeps. Mia Farrow's portrayal of Carrie really did terrify us, and the deadliness of Carrie's abilities and how they gradually grow and change over the course of the film is quite scary when you really think about it. Starting to be nice to the weird or the quiet kids in class might be a good idea because you never know what murderous abilities they might have.
Number 1.
Released in 1979 and directed by Ridley Scott, Alien is the first in a long-running series. Here we're introduced to a young woman named Ripley in the year 2022 as her and her team are returning to Earth from a mission on their starship. After being awakened from stasis due to a nearby distress call, they investigate only to find themselves fighting against an alien species they've not yet encountered before nor are prepared to deal with. A sci-fi movie and a horror movie in one, Alien is terrifying to say the least. Face huggers, chest bursters, and giant aliens chasing you around and in a closed space. In space? Count me out. This movie is our number 1 pick for a reason. Not only was it an amazing movie, but it was also a great horror movie, and so much so that the game Alien Isolation that it's based on is one of the best horror movies out there. Don't believe us? Check out Forco's scared face as he played. So there you have it. Now you know how we feel about 70s horror movies. Do you agree with us? Disagree? If you haven't seen any of these movies, we'd highly recommend watching them. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. I'll see you all next time.